Everything's growing, evolving here, and it has been as long as I've been here. I mean, I talk to alumni that have been back within 5 years, and it's different to them. And certainly the alumni that come back for Hall of Fame and they played here back in the 60s and the 70s, and they can't believe it. I think that's the great thing about SIUE. We have kind of a set of, I don't know if it's rules or laws or bylaws, we call it the SIUE way, but one of those is make the most with the resources we have. And I think that extends beyond athletics. I think it's always been the case with the campus, and it's part of what makes me proud to be here and be part of this campus.
You are the sports information director, but you're also the voice of a lot of the sports. That's got to keep you kind of throwing different hats on all the time.
It does. I wear lots of different hats. Other duties as assigned, we like to say. But the good thing is I think each makes me better in the other. I kind of know what media members and what play-by-play folks are looking for because I'm looking for the same thing when I'm in that world. When I'm the play-by-play guy, I know what kind of notes help and what kind of information I can use on so that makes me better as a sports information guy. But all of that information makes me better as a play-by-play guy too because I know where it is and where to get it quick.
Yeah. Talk about working with John. I think people watch him on the sidelines, they watch that, and every once in a while they see him like on the news or something. But take us behind the curtain a little bit. Who's John Harris?
John is great. I got to know John obviously very quickly in the process, and from my SID side, which is what I was doing most of the summer when he was hired, that spring and that summer. And now all of a sudden you're talking about here is an Edwardsville kid coming back to Edwardsville to be a head coach at Division I level, a kid who was the Post-Dispatch Player of the Year. So guys on the other side of the river, media guys, they covered him then. And so they were very excited. And so we got a lot of attention that way. And he took it all in stride. And for a head coach, a first-time Division I head coach who is not used to that kind of media attention and that kind of pressure and what we ask of him, he was just great to work with. Personally, he's been awesome to me. I always try to take the opportunity to learn from the coaches that I work for and work with, and he's been great to do that. I get to see his family. His family's on the road with us sometimes. He has, a great wife, great children, so he's been a joy to be around.
I've been so impressed with, you talked about that even keel and just values and he's a pretty amazing guy, I think. It makes you want to root for him, right?
I feel that way. And again, we're talking about someone who's in his third year as a head coach who is, he's been an assistant. Certainly he's been around a program and he knows the way that other head coaches do things, but this is his program and now everything falls under his purview, but to still take it all in stride and even keel, as you said, is really, what you get from Coach Harris. And I think it's reflected in the team. You don't see them get too down on themselves, but you don't see them get too high. They know when to celebrate those wins, but they also take it in stride and know that it's all part of a bigger picture and bigger goals.
Wins have been in short supply. And yet some, what I think is significant, though in the big picture maybe small, but significant advances this year. Most wins he's ever had, most conference wins he's ever had. Is not content, but is he content? Is the school content with, okay, we've made some minor gains?
I don't know if content is the right word. I think they certainly look at those minor gains as gains. They are progress. They are steps forward. Still in the process, this coaching staff and John are still in the process of building a program. This was never a come here and we're going to win the OVC tournament that first year or the second year. This was, we're here to lay a foundation to build a program that's going to have success for years to come and is going to have success more than just wins. We're going to graduate student athletes and we're going to have, kids of integrity in the program. And so those things are happening. And I think the wins are starting to come now.
Yeah, I mean, you see, like the Jacksonville State win just a week ago, that was, to me, last year knocking off SIU. Some of those kind of hallmark things like, well, we haven't done that ever or in a long time or whatever, we crossed that bridge. I mean, is that the way people are thinking about it?
I think you're right on. I mean, you as I said, you take those steps for what they are. They are steps, and those are things that you can be proud of and you can hang your hat on. And a win against Jacksonville State, who won the OVC tournament last year, is a significant step. They were close to a win in Nashville against Belmont, which would have been a huge step, of course. So, there's still time to write and to pick up some of those steps, as we go along this season.
Talking about those steps, how big would it be just to get to go to Evansville and play in the tournament?
That's certainly the first goal, is get back to postseason play. It's been 3 seasons now since SIUE has been to the OVC tournament, so that would definitely be step one. And step two is to win a game in the OVC tournament because they haven't done that yet. Those are definitely significant steps, and I think that's the first of kind of the many to come.
You've traveled around, obviously, to all the different places. Give us a couple of venues that, like, I love doing games there. I love that environment. I love what's going on there.
Murray State's always good. Murray State has such a passionate fan base, and obviously they got the tradition to go with it. So that's a lot of fun. And I think that when you're in there and you look around and you think about that racer tradition and those students understand it, and you've got alumni and community members, I think that's ultimately what everybody strives for. But there are several places in the OVC that get loud and get fun, and I think that just the nature of the game. So sometimes you have better games than other times as far as the actual game on the floor. And when it's tense for you in the stands, it's tense for me behind the mic, and that's when it's the most fun for sure.
I was going to ask you that. I mean, I've done 1 million games. You've done 1 million games. What's the fix? What's the high for the play-by-play guy?
That is the high to me. I always say, like, if you watch TV news, those anchors. Boy, they love the breaking news. And weather guys, the storms. That's their play-by-play. Right. Because you don't know what's going to happen. As much as you and I prepare and we write our notes out and we've got our charts and we have every idea of how we think this game's going to go, as soon as that ball goes up, wipe it all away because you have no idea what's going to happen. And that, to me, that's the fun part is you just ride along right with it, and that's the best part.
Yeah, some guy might have broke up with his girlfriend that day.
Exactly. You have no idea. You have no idea.
Other coaches that you really enjoy bumping into in the OVC?
Jay Spoonhour is definitely one. We're getting ready for the Eastern Illinois game tonight, and he's always a fun one. One of the biggest stories at Media Day this year early was his big old beard, and it's gone. I noticed, when he got out here today, his beard is gone. So he's always fun. I've only talked to Coach Rick Bird a few times, but it's been great when I have, and he's one of those guys, obviously that's been there forever, just for such a long time. So he's fun to talk to. And I like to pick the brains, of some of the assistant coaches, because some of those guys have as much invested, if not more, than some of the head coaches you see in the league, whether it's all in one spot or maybe a couple of spots in the league. So they're fun to talk with as well.
What's your biggest surprise? You look at the standings today and you go, whoa, how did that happen? What's the biggest one to you?
It's every night, because this year, unlike many others, every time you turn around, a team that you didn't expect to beat another team is beating another team. Morehead State's had a down year, yet they go and they win a big game. I think they won by almost 20 against Austin Peay, if I'm remembering right. I'm sure people looked around the league and said, SIUE beat Jacksonville State last week, things like that. And it's happening almost on a nightly basis in the OVC, and I think that's, that makes it fun.